Welcome to the Perfect Your Purpose podcast, where our main goal is to connect with inspiring individuals across the country, allow them to share their journeys that have brought them to where they are today, and how they're living and discovering their purpose each and every day. I'm your host, Danica Tramburg, and joined by my friend and CEO and co-founder at State 48, Michael. I can't believe it's been so long since I actually met you at the Super Bowl. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. And so some time's definitely passed since then. And I know your clothing brand was just kind of launching around that time, or at least in the beginning stages. So first, tell us a little bit about State 48 and what drove you to creating it.
Yeah, so we started in 2013. I was born and raised in Arizona. So if you're not familiar with Arizona, like it's a big melting pot. And when I was growing up, no one was really from here. So like I'm a diehard sports fan and just diehard, everything Arizona. And as a little kid, I always kind of felt like I had that entrepreneur niche and I always wanted to start something of my own. So naturally, you're just kind of perfect fit of like, hey, I always love clothes. I love our state, and two friends and I created State 48, which is, if you didn't know that, Arizona is the 48th state, and our brand message is clothing for all, inspired by Arizona. So it's really just promoting love and of our hometown.
I've got to imagine that there were some like obstacles and stuff you had to overcome. Sorry, that was my dog. Can you talk about like any part of the process that was particularly hard for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it never gets like, it actually gets harder the more you build something, because we've been in business over 8 years now, and it gets more and more exciting, but the challenges come every day. But I would say at the beginning, the first couple of years, we didn't take a dollar out of the business. Having two other business partners, that's a challenge alone of, going to business with friends. Two of them are brothers. That was a big challenge. But, again, the first couple of years, we didn't take a dollar from the business. So we were all working full-time jobs. As we started to gain more success and momentum, we staggered it in the right way, where like Stefan went full-time first, then Nick went full-time, then I went last. So that was definitely a challenge. Just the timing part. Just the limited time you have. I was working 10, 11, 12-hour days at the hotel, but I wanted to go, home and shower and then go work on State 48. So it was a grind. Still is. You had, limited capital, limited resources, and you don't know what you don't know until you go through it. So I could probably talk about challenges all day, but those are definitely a few like the main challenges at the beginning.
How did the concept come to be? I know you said clothing kind of has always been a passion in your entrepreneurship and just like wanting to pursue something on your own, but what was that first step? Because I think that's the scariest thing for people sometimes, is like they have a vision, a dream, or they know what they want, but actually doing it is a whole different than just talking about it.
Yeah, 100%. I think what's cool now is how our business evolved. We started a foundation last year too, not to get off the subject, but it's just a sport aspiring entrepreneurs. And we have a speaker series going on right now. We have all these incredible leaders in the valley that are sharing their experiences. And it always, everyone kind of has that same like moment where it's so scary to kind of go all in, but like it's proven the more you put into your business, the more you put into whatever relationship, whatever it might be, the more you're going to get out of it, in my opinion. So like, yes, it was certainly scary, but again, we were smart about it. Like I was operations manager for a Hilton hotel, and I've been there forever, and they knew what my ultimate goal was, to leave and do State 48 full time. So having that transparency with them, and they allowed me to kind of, go, not work so much and kind of more of like a part-time role with the same responsibility. So that helped me kind of like transition to a full-time State 48 role. So yeah, it's certainly scary, but like if you do it the smart way, it really never fails. The more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. But I think a lot of times too, people try to like perfect things, like, rather than just like put it out there. Even when I reflect on our journey and we post, fun photos of when we first started, and it's just, oh my God, what the hell were we doing? Or,
Yeah.
like, it was so bad, like our quality sucked, like, but you have to, gain all that experience as you go. And if you wait too long to kind of put it out there and perfect it, like you're going to be waiting forever.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think that's the beauty. And if just anyone kind of starting a business, is that you go and then you learn along the way. I mean, isn't that true with anything in life? Like if you don't start something, you don't start a workout journey, you're never gonna, do anything about it, and you keep getting better along the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, even when we first got into our first like whole retailer that, resold our products, like, they asked us for, not to bore everyone with details, but they asked us for a line sheet. And we're like, what the heck's a line sheet? And essentially it was just basically, your whole collection of items and what prices sell everything at. But you got to learn those things as you go. So we were really raw, and I'm grateful for our experience. So if we had more resources and education in this world before, maybe we would have sped up our growth, quicker. But that's what worked well for us. And the more, stories you hear from other entrepreneurs, it's kind of all the same things. Like everyone has those same challenges and struggles, but there's no better feeling than doing something you love. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's so true. Tell me more about the foundation that you guys started. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So like if you're not familiar with State 48, it's always been like, how do we make a difference in the community? It's always been more than just selling t-shirts and hats. Like our first big collaboration was with Bruce Arians, the former Cardinals head coach, which actually led me to meet you out at the Super Bowl. Cause basically we made a shirt. It was a silhouette of BA, and $5 per shirt went back to the Arians Family Foundation, which helped neglected children. So like, as soon as that like happened and we gained success and some credibility from there, like we realized, hey, like it's so much more than just selling products to us. And like, but on the for-profit side, you can only do so much to really give back. So we would do, community impact event days. We'd work with other nonprofits. Phoenix Children's Hospital is a big partner of ours, American Cancer Society, you name it. But it was always some type of, profit sharing, or you could only, again, do so much. So we're like, hey, how do we really, make our stamp on the community? And again, State 48 is not here today without entrepreneurship. So that's why we formed our foundation and launched last year in the middle of a pandemic. But it's been super exciting, a lot of hard work. But essentially, we just want to give those resources and tools and money to aspiring entrepreneurs to go for it, to follow their passion, but also guide them along the way. Because if I would have went through like, a series like this at the beginning, who knows where we'd be today? Just because like hearing the stories and the motivation behind it is one thing, but just hearing those practical tips, even legal and marketing and operations, like all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're doing now. And that's kind of the goal, is to create, legitimate organizations. We have our retail, we have our, wholesale business, we have our foundation, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's really cool. I think giving back is so important, especially like in the community you're in. And obviously you have a name for yourself down there too. So being able to give back is just really awesome. I was almost going to wear my Cardinals hat. I should have, I guess. I didn't even realize that. And then I also just saw you signed a deal with the ASU quarterback, Jaden Daniels, right? Tell us about that. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I'm pumped for that, just because now with the NIL deal, name, image, and likeness, that came into effect, like it's been like happening all so quickly, because now you have athletes with ties to Arizona are, reaching out almost every day now that want to do something. So the deal with Jaden was awesome, because we had a relationship with his kind of marketing guy, and obviously being the starting quarterback at ASU, and that's why we work a lot with the sports teams here too, because nothing more, in my opinion, ignites a community of like winning, right? So like even our son's success, this past season, we couldn't even keep shirts in stock. So landing a deal with Jaden was awesome, because it really just creates it's going to give us all that information of how it went. But essentially we created 2 custom designs with him, which we do on a regular basis. And then we have him helping on the marketing side. So it helps us reach a different demographic. We're already licensed with ASU, so there's a lot of synergies there. So yeah, it's really new, but I really do see a vision of like having even a State 48 athlete division, however that kind of shapes out. But I think it's great for the players and companies like us to be able to help each other during their early stages in becoming a professional.
Sorry, I got distracted because my dog keeps barking, but he was like going crazy. That's so cool. And that's really interesting too. I'm just so excited to see all of these NIL deals that start coming to fruition, because I think that's just obviously such a hot topic that people have been talking about for literally ever. And so to see like what comes from this, it's just gonna be really cool. And I think,
Yeah.
go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like sports, I think has united so many people together like forever, and especially like over the last year where we just felt like so ununited as like a country. And I think that's cool for your brand too, to, I don't know, just bring everyone together.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all love. Again, we want to create products that spread love for our hometown and in a fashionable way. So it's pretty simple, and that's what's the beauty of our business is so much of the business is collaborations, and it's mutually beneficial. Hey, we're gonna have our audience is now going to be in front of Jaden, right? Jaden's audience now going to be in front of us, and vice versa with all the different organizations we work with. So I'm really pumped for the future of it, and I think it's again gonna I think it'll help too, like the student athletes that are like just learn more of that professional world before kind of getting there, right? Like I mean, still when you think about it, you're talking to 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids, and it's just gonna gain they're gonna gain so much experience from it too.
Yeah, it's so true. I think it's really cool, and it's cool what you're doing, and what an awesome thing to just keep expanding your brand. And I can't wait to see where it goes. So when you started, how did your company look? Like I've got to imagine it's just tenfold by now.
How's it grown?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we started with $1,500 to just submit for our trademark. Lifetime, we've sold over $10 million in sales, and I feel like we're still just scratching the surface of where we can be. Like you just mentioned, it's so cool to see how things are evolving. Like that's obviously my responsibility to like continue to evolve in like a way that makes sense for our brand. For example, we're not just selling, t-shirts in store online, but we have the custom, business B2B side of the business. We're creating custom designs for organizations. We do screen printing and embroidery services now for any client that doesn't want anything to do with State 48. They just want us to print. We could do that. We're doing offering art and branding services now too, where we can create, designs for other organizations or people starting their own thing. So it's kind of all like, it all makes sense of what we're doing. And there's so much more opportunity just to acquire new customers. But yeah, it's pretty unreal to just look back at like where we first started, and our first office space being 1,100 square feet, all sharing one office. And you always hear these type of stories, and we're still nothing, but like it's been so much fun to like just follow my passion and really sustain it, and also now create jobs for our amazing team. So
I think when you talk about passion too, I think that's everyone's like goal in their career, is doing something that you're passionate about. And how does it feel? I mean, obviously I'm sure you've worked jobs where you're like, I just got to work because I got to bring home a paycheck, or I'm putting in my time, or whatever. Or if you had a job that you liked, but it still wasn't what you absolutely dreamed of. Like, how does it feel going to work every day, knowing that you're doing something that you love?
I mean, again, this is my calling in life, and this is my passion, and like I'm so thankful I get to do this every day. And it does take so much work to get to that point too. Even still today, like and I'm guilty of like never, probably even showing, taking a step back and just appreciating everything, because like it's like you don't really have time to do that sometimes. Of like, hey, what's the next 10 things you have to do? So I could be guilty of that, but there is absolutely no better feeling, especially in my role where I get to, develop relationships and meet amazing people and get to be on, calls like this with you. And I think that's what it's all about. Like everyone wants to work with people they like, and a company that has a good reputation. So we take a lot of pride on that, and customer service is huge. But it's fun to like look back and, when you first we were selling shirts out of a spare bedroom and out of a house, and it was just your friends and family supporting it. And now, it was just even in the store a little bit ago, and the lady was saying like, it was so cool. I was at the nail salon, and like out of 5 people, 3 people were wearing State 48, so like things like that is just like, and people always thanking us of what we do. And it's like, no, we're grateful for you, for you're supporting us, allowing us to, follow our passion and dream. So yeah, it never gets old. And I'm just so excited and grateful for the future.
That's really cool. I feel like passion and purpose go hand in hand, but this podcast really is all about purpose and kind of how you're finding your purpose, living it out, discovering it. Do you feel like the State 48 and what you're doing now has been like a big part of your purpose in life?
Oh, for sure. Like I I always like think, even when you're thinking like, much, further down the road, like, I'll get like mentors or people like, you have to think about like an exit strategy. And I'm like, if I don't have State 48, what am I? It's just like they know me as State 48 guy, but it's more of like, yeah, it's remarkable to just like be able to put your imprint on a brand that is so much more than just selling t-shirts and hats. So yeah, it's a kind of lost for words a lot of time.
Yeah, it's really so cool to see everything that's transpiring from it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the cool thing now too, is like, especially with the pandemic, like really kind of forced a lot of people to kind of rethink of what their future is and or what their career path is. And I think that's what's so exciting is like, as an entrepreneur, you get to create your own destiny. Like you better work your ass off and you sacrifice a lot and more importantly, find the right people around you to help you, because you can't do it all on your own. But yeah, it takes so much to get there, but it's seriously the best feeling to do what you love, because you're not like, there's tedious parts of the job, of course, but you better love what you do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What's the vision? What's next? 5-year plan? What are kind of your next steps, goals that you're reaching towards?
Yeah, no, I mean, so ultimately we want to be that one-stop shop apparel in Arizona. So anything you need, whether again it's design work or production or whatever, collaborations or just stuff that represents Arizona. Like big vision is just kind of be that one-stop shop apparel, that recognized brand in Arizona. But we want to continue to evolve and grow and open more retail locations, which helps share that experience. You can control that experience when someone walks into your doors and oh my God, State 48, they have an awesome team, they're friendly, like they have good quality products. So just continue to evolve and listen to what our customers are saying. But I mentioned even like a State 48 athlete division now with NIL, like that could be a potential piece. More content creation, more videos with showcasing our partners and stuff. But yeah, ultimately you just want to be that recognized brand of Arizona and just do so much more.
That's so exciting. I need to get some more stuff from you guys.
Yeah, let me know.
Lastly, I guess can you tell everyone where they can find you, like what your website is, any social channels, and hopefully we can get some support.
No, appreciate that. Yeah. So state48.com, it's all spelled out. We don't use the numbers. And then all our social media channels are at State48, all spelled out, really easy. But yeah, state48.com has everything there. It's products, information, our company, you name it. So social media feed, everything.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thanks for asking me to be on.
And you can get this podcast anywhere you stream your podcasts.